starting on the attack. And this is an important match, Benny. Wichita Wolves, as Connor said, they're not exactly doing too hot right now.
Yeah, I think the big thing, like the Cookies' critical points were really important here. Talking about the fact that their calculated aggression being met with aggression is causing them to really have to figure things out. They have to try to change up their style, try to change something, because now it's like, do they play more, play structured, play more reserved, or how this is to really go in the face, especially when that Lenny GG game was one of those like correct examples there. There's some examples during NSG, but NSG can't be really counted on too much for, VOD review or anything like that. And the first ban so far, it's Thatcher, as to be expected on most of these kind of maps.
Yeah, Thatcher really on any map, just going to get him off the board. And for the second ban, wouldn't be surprised if we see a hard breach ban. Yeah. I'd probably lean a bit closer to there, but ooh, look at that, a Flores ban. No, this is something that you and I have talked about repeatedly, it feels like, in recent history. This is not a bad ban by any means. In fact, this is quite a good ban by Parabellum. Flores has become increasingly used on Kafe, especially on third floor, to clear out deployable shields and utility. So getting him off the board, that's an important operator you want to take down against any team, not just Wichita Wolves. For the second ban of Mira, that's also a smart ban, but a fairly common and default one by Parabellum.
Question is, next one going to be something like a Kaid, or is it going to be Valkyrie, as per usual? Valkyrie's been probably the one most banned defender so far, coming up in this last stage in the season, and so far, it's going to be Valkyrie per usual, because those cams have been strong. No matter what map you're on, those black eye cams can be strong no matter which map you're on. Doesn't matter which side you're doing. Having the black eye cams on your side is huge for any defending team. So we'll be getting out, and how we go on the first map so far. Let's see how it goes for. What is the first site we're going to? Bar and Cocktail for our first site.
Checks out, especially with the Flores ban, you're going to feel emboldened on the way this site is normally held, which is very horizontally, the shields in pixel, bathroom. It's Cocktail. We all know at this point how this site is generally defended. You have that heavies extension. You hold on to those power positions for as long as you can, aided by utility. And without the Flores, the power of operators like Goyo is heightened. Those two shields are not destroyed nearly as easily. With a Thatcher off the board as well, and Jaeger Romai both in play, you could defend them a lot easier. Wichita Wolves, they'll only bring the Jaeger, so we don't have to worry about those magnets just yet. They do also have the Rooney Gates and the castle. And so far, a lot of operators. That Parabellum, all those operators with clear, Hibana, Nomad, Yana, incredibly important to keep alive.
Definitely. I think the big thing is, like, I'm interested to see Castle brought here. Castle isn't brought as often here on this site, so I'm interested to see, are they going to maybe, where are these Castle barricades going to be placed by Wichita Wolves? What is the intent by bringing Castle along too? Because Castle, those barricades can be nice to waste utility, maybe, block off sight lines. That white window is a big one too. I think we saw a lot of games, both in SI, both in recent history, that white window is huge when it comes to trying and denying someone playing pallets, someone playing by Cocktail. So it's definitely interesting. But those, at the same point, if you bring correct operators, those Castle barricades really aren't much of a difference.
And on top of that, Castle and Aruni function very similarly. Obviously, with Castle, you have the sightline obstructed as well, and you have to, use a sledgehammer and explosive. You can't just burn it with a flashbang. But functionally, they do work similar. They block off doorways and windows, and you still have to clear them. So them both in the hands of Wichita, that's a lot for Parabellum to deal with. And they certainly have the lineup to do it. Yana can burn those Aruni Gates easily with her Yana clone. Penguin with the Zofia. Esco with the Sledgehammer. They certainly have the utility to do so. It's just a matter of, can they get in the positions to do it? If they heighten the aggression, like CJ said, could go their favor. But playing calculated, like he also said, playing reserved, it appears to be what they're doing. Playing behind all this utility, defending it, not getting too ahead of themselves.
Well, that first part of aggression, that first huddle they have to go through, that first hurdle is going to be called out. Playing the smoke here inside of Cigar, and he's trying to waste as much time as possible. One below before is with the C4, ready for if, Call It pulls back, because he used to have, always just walk in. The Penguin takes the first kill on the Call It, just walking to Cigar and taking that fight without any adherence, without any care in the world.
That's always the risk, playing an operator that close in the position with the castle barricade behind him once that smoke is destroyed. And if you're facing a coordinated team like Parabellum, when those stuns goes in, it's hard for Callout or anybody in that spot to work themselves out of that position. And now Eska, he's rotated over, trying to clear out one of these second defenders at the forefront of the defense. Adwinai, Melted, both currently playing in Bathu and on white. They'll rotate back a little bit. And Eska will just sit here holding the angle, waiting for the calls for the rest of his team to come in.
It looks like Grenade will come out and destroy his shield, maybe inside a bathroom. It's hard, that grenade. Another grenade from Spirits. They're trying to burn ADSs inside the freezer and destroy the other shield. So I do believe at this point there are no shields left in the hands of Wichita Wolves, which allow Parabellum to really make this push happen. Force still below with a C4 in hand. I don't know if somebody from Parabellum will go downstairs and try to at least hold off a cutoff, hold off an angle so they can kill him if Force goes for a C4 from below, whether it be pillars or whether it be 90. But drones come out, they're still figuring things out. There's still a minute to go. There's still quite a bit of time, and I believe there is one person on that northeast doorway It is Sonar. Looks like Tony at this point is going to jump right into heaven, and he's going straight for a rappel, going into straight to sight.
Jay just around the corner, doesn't spot Sonar, who's playing it safe as Kool-Aid moves in to get the bomb down. He does it successfully. There's no one to counter it. Forrest finally sends out the C4, but it doesn't find anything, and Kool-Aid is dropped after the bomb's already gone down. Abunai, one of the other players playing inside of bathroom, he's the second one to fall on Wichita. A nice shot by Forrest, but it might not be enough to save Wichita on this round. He'll have to rotate up and help out Melted in the 2v3 on site. And they don't have a lot of angles or map control at their disposal. Diffuser dropped and the center of Cocktail. Melted will try to swing, but Spirits will cut them both down. And Parabellum, they take the very first round on Kafe.
One round from Parabellum, and it was interesting to see that they had this utility-centered focus like you see on Kafe a lot of times. It usually seems to be difficult for teams to break through that defense, but the first kill, like we see right here in the replay, Penguin with a great, stun and explosion to get rid of the first player of Callout. They're able to take control of Cigar, take control of Christmas, and they're able to get that plant down too with people playing on Heaven Repel, making sure they had cut off rotations from people trying to, maybe stop Kool-Aid from playing the diffuser. They had all the necessary angles they needed, got the plant down. Nobody had anything to stop them from below. Forrest was in a position. Forrest probably was the person to see for Kool-Aid, but the lack of intel, it seemed like, was the big issue for Wichita Wolves.
Protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Now they'll rotate down to reading. And Benny, whereas you mentioned last time, the castle, we see it sometimes on Cocktail, but it's not all too often that we see it. That Aruni definitely has taken that mantle, but now we're seeing a much more traditional hold of this site. Ella is a little bit different, I will say, but Ella started to come into the meta a little bit more with her deployable shield. But beyond that, you have the standard pulse down below. You have Forrest on the Jaeger. Not at all surprising for Forrest to be on that operator. Melted on the Aruni. And aside from the Warden, honestly, even with the Warden on this site in particular, I'm more surprised by the fact he has a shotgun than the fact that he's actually in this op lineup specifically.
Yeah, it's similar because usually you see the smoke for this instance instead, right? The shotgun or a mute, really. So the fact that it's Warden, is there something that they're expected of? Like there was a lot of flashing going on last round, but I wasn't sure if that was flashing for a specific reason to flash a player, or there's flashing because they wanted to get rid of utility. So I'm not exactly sure what the Warden really is here for. I'm not sure the intent is. Wichita Wolves definitely have a different, they have an idea probably. I have no clue what it is. I'm not a pro, but I would love to know why exactly they bring the Warden. The C4 is nice though, but why bring him rather than mute? Is my question. I have no clue why. It could be for a specific reason. I just don't know what it is.
I will say, Parabellum did favor their smoke executes a lot last week against Honor, or a couple weeks ago against Honor. That being said, was on Oregon, so different map, but Parabellum are known to go for executes sometimes that either involve flashes to clear out positions or smokes to cover angles, so that might be anticipating a move there, but overall, Warden, he can be a bit situational, but when you bring him and you end up using his gadget properly, he can be an operator that can often turn the tide of rounds. But with that shotgun, he'll be playing a little bit closer to sight, either upstairs or when he inevitably rotates down, and that's what the defense should start considering. When are we going to rotate down? Parabellum, the minute in, they've already acquired Cigar control. They're already moving from that western side over to the east. Haven't made much progress yet, but pretty soon they'll be knocking on the defender's door, and they'll have to decide if they want to sit aided by that pulse or if they want to head back home.
Definitely true. It doesn't seem like there's any push so far from Parabellum when it comes to that top floor, though. Mostly in red stairs and pushing towards from train overboard. It seems to be horizontal take from PB for the moment. Drones coming out, figuring what information they can get on Wichita Wolves, but Wichita Wolves have their own information with call out on the pulse. So the first horizontal breach is happened from the side of PB. They open up into Fireplace, but other than that, I wonder exactly what is the plan. Also, they're also going to open up air, and first kill was the Melted, though. He'll kill Eska upstairs.
I have to say, it's not a take we often see on Reading Room and Dining. It does happen frequently enough to be remembered, but certainly the upstairs clear, that's what we usually find in the hands of the attack. Penguin will get a late trade onto Forrest, flanking up through pillars. Kind of left himself in a bit of a position where you can't get refragged, as the rest of Wichita are currently playing on the site, but you do still have an even man count. And in this position, moving into the final minute, Parabellum, all they really have is this control inside of Mining and Train. They might have some control up above, but it could be easy for the defense to clear if Parabellum don't take their chances and don't try to put some pressure on Reading as well, which, as some Sophia concussions move in, it looks like that's exactly what Penguin plans to do. Playing outside this breach, he can deny anybody playing on the southern side of Reading, but the pulse is still there. Gathering intel, relaying it to his team, likely aiding Melted and Callout respectively, who will both land their own respective kills. As Melted's taken up top, Spirits, who got the double to end things last time, he'll need a double to win 2 rounds in a row for Parabellum. He has time, 25 seconds on his hand. He'll fire a nade on over, push on through the rotate hole, but he's spotted on a long angle by Melted. A quad for the Aruni in the round. Wichita Wolves, they answer back 1 for 1.
PB really going for only a horizontal take that round, not opting to deal with the run whatsoever, and it kind of bit them in the butt. They were getting picks on site, but they're also getting traded off site due to Melted's presence on the top floor. So I'm surprised that they really didn't go for that top floor here whatsoever, because they went for this opening in pillars, went for opening up in fireplace and train. But the thing is, if you're going to go through pillars, if someone's playing upstairs, whether it be New Balk or Heaven, it's gonna be very difficult. Not, you could take those fights, but the person above has the advantage with that height when being upstairs and taking those fights. So I think that Melted was a big one there. He got the first kill upstairs. He was upstairs. He took 2 more when he was upstairs as well. He got that first kill upstairs on New Balk. Jumps down, gets second kill through the breach that they made onto the last player's spirits too. So interesting to PB. Maybe they just didn't want to go through, or they knew that it was gonna be difficult and time wasting. But unfortunately, I think in the end that was kind of what really undid that entire approach.
When you have Eska up there, Penguin is able to play off that Hibana breach, but the moment Melted takes New Balk, as you said, there's just so many aspects of what Parabellum wanted to do to hold raiding and get the plant down dining. It's not all that possible anymore. Wichita Wolves, moving off of that, they'll move back to Cocktail with some changes in their lineup. They've taken away that castle, given Jay the Aruni, and Melted is taking up the mantle of the Wamai. And Benny, they have that mute you were talking about, that Warden shotgun, where you were like, why would they just bring a mute? Well, it's a different site, but now they're bringing it in. You get that intel denial. And now also, since you have that Thatcher on the board, that Jaeger Wamai to defend those Goyo shields becomes incredibly powerful when it comes to stalling out the attack, which is one of Wichita's issues last time. Parabellum were able to acquire the map control on the 3rd floor pretty quickly and pinch out the defenders pretty quickly as well.
Definitely. We'll see what PB... Well, last time the big thing was the fact that they were able to get those picks and get the angles they need to make a plan happen when it comes to bar. But this time there's no castle on the board. Nobody's playing aggressive and Cigar from the side of Wichita Wolves. It's a much more, I'd say plain defense, as you expect. A more standard, where they just have those shields inside of Bathroom, the shields inside of Pixel, and inside of Freezer, just to waste time. But last time, even especially the Wamai and Jaeger, sure, there's more burn this time, especially because you have Aruni, Jaeger, and Wamai. But can they keep these shields, intact for longer? Because last time it was pretty simple within the first minute, so for PB to destroy all the shields on the side of Wichita Wolves. And this time, well, can they do the same?
Minute in, you don't have Callout losing his life early on inside of Cigar, and in fact, you have Eska losing his life early on that White Repel. He was able to open this up, isolate the attackers, or the defenders, I should say, on Pallets and Bathroom, but now that you don't have that Sledge or Nades as well, you lose an element of your clear, and if you want to hold up and deny the defenders from getting aggressive, now you need to rotate someone over to that angle, and you're left with much less manpower to actually clear out Pixel and then move on to the site. But for now, that's not even a thought in Parabellum's mind. They're continuing on with these standard aspects of their clear. Spirit's also holding a long angle into Bathroom, make sure that Abunai doesn't swing out and fry anybody inside of Cigar. And for Parabellum, they're just still acquiring this control. A big problem for them last time was potential map control or potential defenders down below. Not a factor this time. For now, all they really have is the Cigar control, and they're not making much headway in the final minute or so.
I think so far too, none of the shields have been destroyed either. I think both Vulcan shields are still alive instead of Freezer and Bathroom. I don't know for sure. I haven't really seen much of it. Yeah, so because the one in Bathroom's gone, but the one in Freezer is still there too. So there is at least still one more shield they can play off of. And at this point, Parabellum, I saw walking. Oh, Penguin with a slow walking. He's creeping into Freezer slowly but surely. He knows he's behind the shield. They're playing inside Freezer. He knows he's there. Penguin's been spotted, so they know he's there. C4, exactly. Call out will destroy Penguin, and that's the intel that you need. The communication you need. One New Balk sees Call Out, and now it's Penguin. It's Parabellum at this point. They're trying to push the way in. Spirits goes down to Pelted, and Parabellum really have no control. They're trying to peek through. They're trying to walk in the site, but Wichita Wolves are stopping at every turn.
Kool-Aid will finally stop Melted's domain or dominion inside a Bathroom, but as you said, Wichita Wolves they've already done what they need to. It's a 2v4. Parabellum can't even seem to make their way into the site, and they couldn't make their way into the site with more manpower. You don't have a C4 on the side of the defense anymore, and sure, no smokes to deny, but at this point, it'd have to take a miracle or require a miracle for Parabellum to come away with this. Forest will swing, Kool-Aid falls. Sonar trapped in a 1v4. Is able to spot one, but likely an impactless frag solidified by Jay, and Wichita Wolves, they take the lead.
Well, Wichita Wolves would take the lead so far, and that was a much more conservative defense. Last time they played very aggressive Cigar, they played very aggressive in Christmas, and it kind of, allowed for Parabellum to get the kills they need, control what they need to. And really, that first round, they're able to get the plant down in the middle of bar. This time, though, they couldn't really they took control of Christmas, they took control of Cigar, but they had the min advantage from the get-go due to the aggressive play from Melted, getting that kill into Eska, denying that White Stairs window or White Hallway window play, which was really big because he can cut off rotations, he can get kills people in Bathroom. without that coverage, it seemed like PB's attack was at that point very one-sided. They tried to push on through, make some sneaky plays, try to walk into sight, but the intel was in the hands of the Wichita Wolves that round. They would C4s off, kill like players like Penguin who's walking in, get shots on, Spirits who's walking through as well inside of Christmas. Much better round for Wichita Wolves. We go on to the kitchen service. We'll see if they're going to play aggressive. It already seems like they're playing aggressive upstairs, having a roam with the Mozzie.
Both teams in this game, and historically on Kafe, love their roams on Kafe, but especially love their roams on Kitchen. We might see some of the Parabellum Kafe roams once we get to their half, but for the side of Wichita, is certainly looking like it could be a roam as well. As you said, with that Mozzie likely playing upstairs, also saw some reinforcements dedicated to reading. We should expect some sort of roam. And has that hatch? Benny, is that hatch closed within the Rooney Gate, or is it open? Oh, it's actually soft.
It's actually soft right now. It's soft.
It's soft right now. Well, look at that. Benny, what their plan is, they're going to lure them. Heska's going to hit it immediately. Then all of a sudden, he's going to fall, and it's going to be very fun. I believe that is my pro league analysis. It's going to be almost like a Looney Tunes bait and switch, like Lucy taking the football away from Charlie Brown.
Well, usually you can tell if that hatch is closed or reinforced, you can tell whether or not the defenders are looking to play a roam for their life or a roam where they're just trying to back up. And that hatch is open though, so I wonder if PB are going to not PB if Wichita Wolves are going to play for their lives upstairs, or if they're going to retreat. Just waste time, waste utility, waste drones, and then make the way back to site. And whether PB, is PB going to even entertain that in the first place too? Damage already done to Abinai. They were trying to pressure the one in coach check, but of course, information is the key here. And players from Wichita Wolves are now coming through to try and help out Abinai. You see Coast Red Stairs. The Mozzie of Force is bringing down to so he can't get pinched by the players inside a small bag, but we'll see how well this goes out. Ooh, Forest will see one, but unfortunately they walk away at the last second.
Forrest is able to dissuade them, at least for the time being. And if Forrest was not there, I imagined we would see an opening pick going in favor of Parabellum. 4 members from the attack were all seemed primed to pounce on the Jaeger sitting inside there. But Forrest comes down, fires some Roni shots, and Abwinai is able to live a bit longer, deny a bit more intel. And at this point, the fact that he's managed to stay alive this long on basically 1 HP, not only a testament to Abinai, but also just overall good for the defense. You aren't losing all too much. And even if he dies, which there you go, Penguin's finally able to take him down, doesn't really matter that much, especially since they wasted enough time. Wichita Wolves are able to acquire angles and answer back with 2 kills onto Zofia and Eska, a lot of which hasn't been having the best game or the best early round when it's come to Wichita Wolves versus Parabellum so far.
Well, there's 2 members. I don't know if they know Forrest is playing close. They don't. Damage done, but Forrest, can he win the fight? Yet that Roni will allow him to finish off down Sonar. So these last 2 players on this side could come by and help out the last players in sight, but as they need to even. Melted will get that kill from above, actually. He reclaims that top floor coverage. Nice prep control, and that's also the Diffuser on the ground side of prep. So now it's Spirits in 1v4. Probably not much you can do here, and really, that round was really big from the fact that this was a horizontal take. It was a bit slow though. So that slow take from PB allows Wichita Wolves to come back and barely play as a team, make sure they can, help their teammates out. But wait, that's from Spirits though. He just takes out Forest, but in a 3v1, there's not a lot you can do here in the last 30 seconds from Spirits unless Wichita Wolves start peeking in without any regard. Especially the Diffuser in the hands of Melted above. A lot of him to do here.
Spirits might not have been able to take down Brimstone, but maybe he could take down Wichita if he's able to press his luck just a little bit more. Diffuser's not in his hands, and as the time slowly goes down, Melted watching it from above. Yeah, Spirits ain't coming away with this one, I'm just being honest with you. He's probably taking a tactical timeout. Might go for 1 or 2 kills to pad the stats. Ooh, we'll tag call out just a little bit, but no, there we go. The Cade will finally swing Spirits, and Wichita Wolves will take their 3rd round. And I believe we are going to have a timeout from the side of Parabellum. Gonna sit here, talk about what's been going on for a minute, just as I'm sure Parabellum will as well. So, Benny, Parabellum, they had the first great round. They had a beautiful clear up top, beautiful execute. But in the next 3 rounds, it's been some beautiful defenses from Wichita.
Yeah, at this point, I feel like Wichita have figured out what they need to do. They figured out how to just waste time for PB and make sure that PB are really running the clock. They're wasting time taking control of this, especially because both rounds we've seen so far, they haven't really opted for those roam clears. They haven't gone for that top floor roam clear when it came to reading and dining. Reading and dining, they only tried to do a horizontal take through train. When it came to the last defense, kitchen service, good cooking, they didn't clear upstairs. They went for straight horizontal. It was at start almost good. They almost got Abinai quickly, but then of course Wichita Wolves respond quickly. They move into red stairs and make sure they have people ready to help Abinai, and that really stalls out PB. They make this push into bakery, and that was it.
And then you have the man with the Diffuser, Kool-Aid pushing in through prep, and as you said, Melted still up top, just able to look down, kill him, and Melted the past couple rounds, he's just been dominant on that roam because Parabellum haven't opted to clear him. So, depending on what site we go to next, Kitchen and Cocktail are still locked, so we would go back to reading, which is the very first defense Wichita won in this 3-round win streak they've been on, and in large part, as you said, it was because of that roam. So if Parabellum were talking about anything, sure, it's always a bit risky to play into the roam to go and clear it out. You might get time wasted up top, especially with a pulse on the board like we saw from Wichita Wolves. We don't see one just yet. In fact, we might not see one at all, but that's probably the key to success for Parabellum if they want to try and get around on the board.
Yeah, I think at this point they should at least try something different, because so far we have 2 rounds where both times it was the roam that really denied them that play whatsoever. They get that kill on Abonai when it came to that, kitchen service, kitchen cooking play, but then you had Forrest and you had Melted that then moved to Boots and Brownstairs. Forrest gets the kill onto the Nomad of Sonar. You have Melted go back upstairs to Train. He plays Train, denies that prep push entirely. So at that point, and they didn't even open the wall into Bakery. They tried to get that wall open. They opened the top of that wall with Maverick. But then, of course, since Melted playing in Train, he shoots through those Maverick holes and denies them from trying to open it any further.
10 seconds to go.
Now, thankfully, you don't have the pulse to deal with, but this is really going to be the round where we'll see. I wouldn't say how into it Parabellum are, but this is the round where we see if they're able to make those adjustments. They're a team that can sometimes be a little bit slow in best of ones. They like to play for their adaptations. They like to play the reaction, and sometimes that can be a bit risky in a best of one where all you have is that one map. And if you lose enough rounds, well, you lose the series. You don't have much of a chance after that. They're able to take that timeout and focus more on clearing that roam. This could very well be going their way. In Wichita Wolves, they are focusing so much on that roam. Once again, you have the mute up top, the Aruni, or not the Aruni, you have a castle playing up top. Excuse me, one player currently sitting inside a bathroom behind a castle barricade. It's another very utility-focused setup from Wichita, as we've seen repeatedly. Since Penguin has already rotated down, opened up part of that cigar wall, part of that red wall, it looks like they're going to focus more on clearing that roam, but it also looked a bit that way last time. Then they rotated down to their eventual doom.
Well, so far they at least identified that they've castle barricaded themselves into Train, though. So at least on the side of Wichita Wolves, they're trying to make it more difficult to make that quick push into Train, make them waste utility. And if someone like the mute here from Jake can get some kills playing in there too, would be big. Also see upstairs, we saw Melted. He's sitting inside a bathroom with the castle barricade on the door. He's also 12 hidden, of course, so he can leave if he needs to. But there also all rotates into Freezer as well, and Abonai playing with him inside a cocktail. So this is definitely another interesting setup from the side of Wichita Wolves. Nothing too crazy, but it's still something you have to deal with and figure out how you're going to push this, how you're going to deal with it. And if they can destroy the Vulcan shield, it's going to be difficult for Melted to leave. But it looks like Melted, he already sees that his ADS is maybe burned already, so he's already walked out. We'll push back into pallets. And so far, they're slowly but surely, Parabellum are just making sure they can push these players into Cocktail and try to push them either out or take fights with them as they play that site.
Bit odd right there. You had 3 drones all from Parabellum at the feet of Melted on the Goyo. Seems a bit of redundancy, something we're not all too used to from Parabellum. Maybe that was planned, maybe I'm missing something, but I don't know. It's a little bit worrying for their overall coordination. Now even worsened by Spirits, the highlighted player on the Yana as well. Not a key utility you'll surely be missing, as entering the final minute, Parabellum, they've finally managed to acquire top control, but it came at no expense from Wichita, and a massive expense in Parabellum in terms of manpower and time. You do still have your sledge and some breach charges as well, so for that vertical control, you still have plenty of utility at your disposal to use it with. And hey, on the side of Wichita, you only have one C4 that's pre-placed, but if you manage to bait that out and it goes wide, you don't have to worry about any C4s at your feet, and you can move down to the execute. There it goes, and all it does, I believe, is damage J, so that's a complete win for Parabellum. All that utility, you can now solely focus on acquiring this, and with 25 seconds left, they'll move down and try to get down that bomb. Cooley just has some trouble moving in on the execute. He's been found out the past couple rounds in a row. He'll try to make his way through the bookcase and get the bomb down inside of default. With Eska up above, they have everything they need. They have 2 kills as well. Make that 3 thanks to Penguin, and the bomb goes down successfully. What seems to be so far a beautiful execute is turning into something far more ugly. 2 kills, a flurry of both go to the favor of Wichita. Forrest has retaken control of the site, and Sonar and Eska are both up top. These are still powerful angles for Parabellum to have. They don't need to play aggressive. It's still in their favor. But Wichita can start baiting it out, and if they can land even 1 kill onto a member of a Parabellum, that could be enough to get the bomb down. Eska will try to send a nade on through, and it will drop on both of them from the top ropes. The nade just barely falls through the hole, and Parabellum will finally stop the momentum of Wichita Wolves.
So it's almost like you go back to Cookie's point about aggression, calculated aggression. That round, I feel like Wichita Wolves' aggression that round was just mistimed. They got that first pick, which was huge. They get that first pick that allows them to play. They back off. They let them have top floor for the last minute. They got that C4 off to start them off all the way up to 45. But then at that point, because of the top floor coverage, you can't go and you can't aggress against the person planting and reading because they have that top floor. They have the coverage they need. And, Eska playing above, you cannot walk into his line of sight and expect to win having that vertical play, especially with somebody else. Even as a 45, it's still enough manpower to have someone not only upstairs inside of, cocktail, but another player outside playing, outside the door, covering the person planting. So I feel like in that round, that aggression that then came from Forrest, came from Callout to put in a 2v2 was just too late, because at that point the last two members were upstairs waiting and ready to deny them from disabling the diffuser. Whereas that before, so they can at least let those players who were aggressing on site, somehow, maybe someone can go up some stairs, at least allow for someone to make that aggressive play, peek that coverage while getting shot from above.
It really is a lose-lose in that situation. You have Eska and Sonar both up top, so if they try to go for a retake, Parabellum can just play for trades, and if you don't retake up top, they have up top. Tough situation for Wichita to try to work themselves out of, and for the final defensive round, we'll go to Cocktail. Cite that it's 1-for-1 for PB and Wichita so far. PB wanted that first round with a great execute, but then Wichita managed to hold on in round number 3, but this was the first round of the entire game, and it was much more akin to what we saw in the previous round than what we saw in the other ones. It was a very solid execute by Parabellum, though while the last one took a bit of time, Parabellum managed to get an execute down, and Forrest might just go for a run. He hears the rappel, but oh no, he misses the shots! He's 1 HP as well, trying his best. Kool-Aid will finally punish him. That was a bit of a wonky play, bit of a risk by Forrest. Clearly didn't pay off.
All right.
I mean, that's about how I'd react as well.
Yeah, that's how I react as well. It's almost like we saw that 3-minute run out back in the last stage when it come to end the stage and it didn't matter what the match was. I was like, that reminds me of that in Kafe, because I did that in Kafe last time where they had 2 people jump out of boots, that same window, and the small bake window. I was like, it reminded me of that. So I'm not sure exactly what the plan there was. I know we talked about aggression for Wichita Wolves and that sometimes it's been mistimed, misplaced, wrong timing, and that kind of I felt like was the same exact thing. I don't know why you'd have the mute with the SMG-11 do the play of all. Because SMG-11, sure, if you're good enough, you can control it, but would you be confident enough to shoot someone rappelling up a wall to shoot them? I don't know.
Poor Spirits. He had the drone prepping to hit the generator.
Yeah, that's true too. I'm pretty sure they knew something was happening too, and they were just waiting for it to.
Dude, they were so coordinated. He was like, "All right, you throw the flashbang, burn the renegade. I'll throw it in." Oh crap. Unlucky. Put it mildly.
Oh,
but
unlucky for them. But
there's an upside here. There's an upside for Parabellum. Eska's not dead. Eska on this white window was powerful in that first round, and the next time they attacked it, he was taken out in the opening duel, as a matter of fact, by Melted playing on pallets, but now he's alive, and he's able to apply some pressure to Abonai and Melted. Parabellum, they are taking a little bit of time on this clear, but they have all the manpower they need, and everyone who's able to play their angles, at least for the moment, it's on Wichita to make the play.
I definitely agree. Really, at this point, they're full power from PB. If they can just clear what they need to clear, take control, and make sure they can hold the angles, they can do the same exact play last time, have the gem like play destroy. So really still take damage, unfortunately, because Penguin is a bit too hasty in walking through that. So he'll take 30 damage, but until I figure out who exactly is left nearby, it should be one in Freezer, as the Jaeger once more of Abonai played there last time. They don't really need to clear him for the moment, but will they need to clear him if they want to make that play inside of Bar. Abonai still playing and waiting. Melted's trying to hold off inside of White Stairs. And so far, this is kind of a one-sided push. I know last time it was Sonar who went over to, New Heaven or Heaven Window, which was kind of a big play, having someone go and clear out Cocktail, at least play aggressively. Abonai get the kill on the Kool-Aid from inside of Freezer. It's coming down to the last 20 seconds, and the Fusion's down. Abonai 2 on a Sonar as well. Spirits gets one of his own back on a Melted, but 3v3 with 16 seconds. They have grabbed the diffuser, but what utility does Wichita Wolves have to deny a plant? C4's thrown out, can't kill anybody. Spirits kills one of the J. Spirits gets second one. Eska finishes them off, and that's Wichita Wolves to lose their last defense and end it, what, 4-2? 3? Oh, no, 3-3. 3-3.
3-3.
My bad.
Sorry, I said yes, but I meant 3-3.
I said yes, but I meant no.
Yeah, basically. It was a binary choice. I said one option, but I meant option number 2. Still, 3-3. Kafe attack, not terrible. Not terrible by any stretch of the imagination, especially on the trend they started going to. That timeout clearly did wonders for Parabellum. I wouldn't say they looked like a completely different team, but they certainly looked like the same team revitalized, much more akin to round number 1. Now we get to move to their defenses, and one thing I will say, going into this, Wichita and Parabellum, I mentioned this earlier, they were a team that on Kafe, even for Wichita Wolves since the days of Obey, were known for their Kafe roams, for their aggressiveness on Kafe defense. But they were focusing more on playing a bit conserved, playing a bit further back, like the desk mentioned. But now for Parabellum, we'll see if they've made some changes as well, or if they're going to do some of the same roams they normally do. For example, on Kitchen, there is a famous roam with Capcan that Penguin will do. We'll see if we get to it as the first side is Cocktail. But so far, based on this lineup, doesn't appear they're straying too far from home.
Yeah, it seems to be the same as per usual. 2 shields, a smoke, an echo. A Rooney as well, and Jaeger, and a Kaid. We haven't seen much of any, hard breach denial from the side of Wichita Wolves when they played their defense. But at the same point, we didn't see a whole lot of, hard breach in general. Yeah, we saw some Habana pellets being used when it came to that reading dining. We saw Maverick being used here and there. But when it came to that top floor defense, there wasn't much hard breaching from the side of Parabellum, so maybe bring hard breaching out didn't really make sense for that kind of play. But I think they've made their, they've done their due diligence, did their homework, because usually we see Jay playing Thermite as he is doing now. That usually is his role. So maybe at this point it's just more that Parabellum know exactly how the role play on this attack, and they know exactly, hey, we should bring something to deny Jay for this instance.
Jay's always a dedicated Thermite player. I give massive respect to that. I love me some Therm. Shame he doesn't get as much love as he does anymore. And for takes, it looks like Wichita Wolves, based on the presence of a buck, could be going for a cocktail take. Another take that doesn't often get as much love, or at least comparatively, how much that clear from the west to the east side, from Cigar over to Cocktail usually does. We don't often see teams much anymore go for that take from below. We're not seeing anything just yet. We'll see Melted take the same position Eska did. Actually, no, never mind. He's not repelled White Window. He's currently repelled on Stage Window. Still a position commonly held, and the sledge as well, moving up. Adwin looking to potentially go on at really any repel. Call won't be doing much of anything anymore. Spirits playing aggressively inside of red is clearly caught off guard, or catches Wichita Wolves off guard.
Yeah, this Christmas play from Spirits is definitely that aggression you did not expect. Especially if they get reinforced the full wall into Freezer. You don't expect him playing inside Christmas, but Spirits here, he finally been droned out. He still get that first pick, though, onto 2 frag grenades and the sledge of callout, which could have been what he needed. Still the buck don't melted, so there still is soft breach in the hands of Wichita Wolves and forced in a position to try and kill him. And there's the head. Snipe off the head of Spirits. Even up the man count. And now the question is with Abnai inside of Cigar, trying to shoot out that camera. They made their way in. They can try and take until Christmas, and whether or not can they get these walls open with the Kaid on the board. It'll take Melted to go downstairs for the happen, and never mind. Abnai gets taken off by Penguin, who's now downstairs with the C4.
Well, Penguin manages to hit Abunai on the fadeaway, and Wichita Wolves, they like to run Abunai on Yana for quite a long time. They've switched him to Ash, and since they lost Call, they don't have any nades anymore. All they really have for clear, now that Abunai's fallen, is that Zofia with those impact lifelines. Then again, Parabellum, they are running those 2 shields, and none seem to be, at least over on the Cigar side, alive at all. And we will see Jay on the Thermite use his first exothermic to clear the member playing inside a bathroom. They'll manage to catch Sonar off on the rotate. A double kill for Forrest so far. As he moves his way in, Jay will put down his second exothermic. Kool-Aid goes for a swing, but it's still advised. Melted is there watching, and those yokais won't have an effect. It's now on gunfights to try and stop the execute. Penguin manages to win the first, but Eska's trapped in a blender right now, and so is Penguin. The remaining members of Parabellum, they start shooting back, but it's the guns for Wichita Wolves to light up, and they take the first attacking round on the back of them.
Well, that was a good start for Parabellum. They had the first pick, but there was a refrag sooner or later. They opened that wall into the bathroom, get a pick as well, and a rotating Sonar, trying to get out of the way from that exothermic charge. And at that point, with the the walls open, they had to rotate in a freezer. It really just took it on to Wichita Wolves at that point, because they were in a 3v2 or 4v2, and they started just taking fights, walking in because they had the man advantage. You might as well just take it at that point in. With the better advantage in guns and the better scopes, they're able to win out those fights and give them that first attacking round. We go PB back upstairs for a second time, and we'll see exactly what they trade out. So far, we're seeing them trade out a Rooney for a Warden.
See if he's running the Warden shotgun like we saw Jay do. No, he's running the MP5. That's usually one of the reasons we see Warden get brought, kind of like one of the reasons Frost gets brought, aside from the shield and the secondary shotgun. 9mm 1.5. Very good. Eska, or Warden, I should say specifically. Eska is not an operator. Warden is sometimes run for that Warden 1.5. Of course, there are other reasons as well. Has that C4. Does have a bit of a situational gadget, one that can still be powerful if used in the correct situations. That's usually why we see him get brought, and he will be running that 1.5. And Parabellum, they will rotate back down to Cocktail, and they'll play a similar setup, all things considered. The one change I'd like to see, I get the idea of Spirits playing aggro inside a Cigar. It did waste about a minute and a half. I don't know how much you could directly attribute that to Spirits, but he did at the very least get a kill on the call out, and for the nades, that's an important pick, but you are just leaving him out to dry. As Benny, you pointed out, all the walls are reinforced. That man is not rotating back. That man is going to die. So maybe, I don't know if you could still get in the face of Wichita. Maybe not. in that way, and it looks like they're not doing that, which is
Yeah,
good
they're
in my
something
book.
going more for that, that normal setup where you have a bunch of shield inside of bathroom, freezer, and pixel. But this time they've reinforced that rotate between bathroom and freezer, which is definitely interesting to see from them. They're not bringing the Kai this time, so there's no hard breach denial. Wish the wolves would bring the same lineup too. So hard breaching is still really not big of a thing because of the fact that these holes, they're trying to make it so that you don't even need the hard breach. Really, it's going to take more fights, more anything. So this seems that maybe PB may play more aggressive, expecting those gunfights instead rather than trying to waste time as their sole goal. So let's see exactly how they play here and what Wichita Wolves is. Looks like they're doing different. They're training for a cocktail. They have the buck here. They can go for a cocktail execute instead.
With that buck, we'll see Melted rotate over. Instead of the west to east, we will finally see that buck go below inside of reading, or somebody go below inside of reading. Maybe it's Abonai with those ash charges, which we do see sometimes, to open up down below and put pressure on the players playing inside a cocktail. So if Parabellum aren't getting as aggressive, they'll certainly have a much harder time with the active pressure down below. They will spot Abonai with a Yokai, who gets stunned as well, but nobody's in a position to really capitalize off of it. So Melted and Abonai are both free to move on in. They know the Yokai's there, likely able to destroy it as well if they manage to do it, and are free to put pressure on these two people, the two players of Parabellum, who are now playing the floor as lava, and they've hopped up on those bars.
Yeah, they're laying floor as lava. They're sitting on top of the bars, like looking down, like ready to shoot Melted as soon as
Somebody go below inside of reading. Maybe it's Abonai with those ash charges, which we do see sometimes, to open up down below and put pressure on the players playing inside a cocktail. So if Parabellum aren't getting as aggressive, they'll certainly have a much harder time with the active pressure down below. They will spot Abonai with a Yokai, who gets stunned as well, but nobody's in a position to really capitalize off of it. So Melted and Abonai are both free to move on in. They know the Yokai's there, likely able to destroy it as well if they manage to do it, and are free to put pressure on these two people, the two players of Parabellum, who are now playing the floor as lava, and they've hopped up on those bars.
yeah, they're laying floor as lava. They're sitting on top of the bars, like looking down, like ready to shoot Melted as soon as he opens the floor up, pretty much. And here it is, opening the floor up, trying to shoot back, at least trying to get a kill. Though Kool-Aid is pushed over into bars, getting shot from multiple directions, goes down to one of the windows. He's been finished off by Jay, so that's a good start here for Wichita Wolves in this execute. So far, there's nothing from PB. I wonder if PB are going to try and aggress in any way to stop this, or if they're just going to let them go to work, and if they're going to, move out of cocktail and push towards freezer, push more towards White Hall, and expect them to push through the windows to make that play happen. Well, so far, but the thing is, all the executes taking a minute and 15 off the board. They've gotten a first pick, but what other control does Wichita Wolves have?
Looks like some are rotating over to that western side, and the big player here is Spirits. Has he gone unread over on this side? Well, he has, and he's dead now. It's Penguin to get the first kill on the board for PB. As Kala gets two, a C4 flies out from the Goyo, manages to find one, but it's once again Parabellum on the back foot. Now dominantly so, the team captain, the only one left, and he joins his teammates in the grave just a couple seconds after they all fall. Wichita Wolves, they take two in a row, and I have to say, Benny, that cocktail take was beautiful. That was excellent.
I'm pretty sure it's another
I
curse.
love that.
This is another curse.
You know, it might be.
But I digress, though. I will agree. That was a really good take. It was scary for a moment there because of the fact that Wichita Wolves, within their last minute, they got in the first pick. They pretty much moved out all of the players inside a cocktail, but they had no control otherwise. And when they pushed into, New Balk and inside a bar, pushed in a cigar, you'd expect maybe PB were in positions to deny them, which they were at first. Penguin got that first pick onto the player, pushing straight into bar. I think that was Forrest and Zofia. Getting that first pick, making it seem like they weren't going to make the move their way through, but it also kind of was that distraction that allowed for those members on the windows to then push in from only, inside into a cocktail, take control of White Hall, take control of White Stairs, and then allow them to kill those last players on PB. So it's kind of a pinch. That New Balk push from them was kind of that distraction they needed to make it happen and solidify their taking a cocktail.
And taking after last round, we won't see much of any aggressive roam from Parabellum. But what I was excited to see going into the day, which was two teams just, I would say, running around the map, but being everywhere. We saw it a little bit from Wichita Wolves on Kitchen. We're not going to see much of it from Parabellum. Kool-Aid's still on the Yokai. He's chilling inside the side. If anything, we might see an aggro Spirits, but it'll likely be an individual play, maybe with Eska in tandem. But beyond that, both teams today seem to be favoring just chilling on the site, playing it close to the chest. Could see some extensions up top. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Eska and Spirits on the roam. As, well, you can see them on the roam right now. But it's a horizontal extension beyond that. Nothing all too crazy on the vert. Wichita Wolves, one problem we obviously saw Parabellum have was they didn't deal with the roam up top, and it bit them later on in the round. Actually, not even later on in the round. Like, in the mid-round, it started biting them. Wichita Wolves, they do the same. We could see something similar pan out, but they've been so coordinated between them so far when it comes to taking down the defenders on or off site. This roam might be quick work if they continue on that trend.
Could be. It looks like the Wichita Wolves are opting to try and deal with the roam. There aren't any, reinforcements or utility for these roamers. So I'm assuming the two roamers, just because they reinforced that, that hatch into freezer, I'm assuming that they're just going to book it as soon as they see any kind of aggression from the side of. Though they have a bulletproof camera at least to watch someone drop down bar. So there is some kind of intel for it. But Spirits will drop down the laundry, and of course, any kind of pressure is going to make these PB members sprawl back to site, make sure they can just waste some time, waste some utility, get rid of drones, and make it so that the intent here is just so that they walk into that horizontal hold. And the horizontal hold is going to, waste that even more time, make it more difficult for that X could happen. So as though Wichita Wolves, they at least they have control of top and third floor.
They do. The question is, what are the defenders up to? What is the defense doing? Well, they've all rotated back. They've all rotated back pretty quickly, so this is just free for Wichita Wolves to now take. That does mean, as you said, Benny, now they have to push onto the horizontal, but it also means that Wichita Wolves, they can do whatever they want to this top floor. They have a buck and a sledge. They can do vertical destruction in 2 places at once. Crazy. One of them dies, you can always have the other rotate over, and if both of them die, well, you have Abonai's breach charges, though he's also getting in on the FUD. So clearly this is a big part of Wichita Wolves' play, if you can't tell by the many explosions reconstructing the floor. But I am surprised, though, we're a minute in, or about to be a minute left, I should say, to be specific with my language. Nobody's died yet. In fact, not a gunfight has been taken. It has been a fall off by Parabellum. They've slowly started moving back, and that can be good if Wichita Wolves are able to stall out and Parabellum are able to hold on the horizontal. That could be huge. But Wichita Wolves, they've also been able to play those angles on the site even when short on time, so it might still be favoring them in the long run.
Oh, grenade drops down in Eska's hand, and Eska just turns around and goes, nope, that's not for me. Someone walking down red, there is Zofia of Forrest walking down, looks into Kochek, sees him jump in, and Eska, unaware of just Forrest, walking in like it's nobody's business. He'll get taken down. There's 2 left, though, on this horizontal roam. There's still Spirits and another inside of Boots. And his sonar on the smoke, trying to smoke out the freezer drop. And so far, he sees one. Sees some drop down. Penguin takes one in bunker, though. Jay is the refrag. Go for that plant. Spirits takes off Forrest, though. What cover does Jay have? There's also the Yokai still play, too, but he can't get on top of the freezer.
Oh, my God.
Last second denies Jay. I was scared the Yokai couldn't stick to the ceiling there. But it's Kool-Aid and Spirits. Spirits taking out one, evens it up, and the plant does go down. The Yokai could not stop him. Down goes Spirits. Kool-Aid gets his own nose, so it's now Jay in a 1v1. Well, it's a 1v2 technically if he can pick up Spirits, and he'll be able to because time is available here. And whether does Jay have the angle to deny them from disabling the diffuser? I don't think he does because can you even make a hole? He probably can in the red hall, but so far it looks like Kool-Aid's trying to figure out where exactly Jay is. Does see Jay, knows exactly where, so this is the great intel. Jay will destroy, but Kool-Aid shoots Spirits. Not exactly sure what happened there, so Kool-Aid now is going to go for that disable. And Jay, can he stop him at this point? Time is running out, and no, time does run out. Defenders were able to disable the diffuser, and PB get the round.
Bro, what was that? What was that post play?
Don't ask me. That entire situation was just interesting.
So it got crazy there.
Hey, you can analyze that. Just don't ask me.
Kool-Aid gets the stun at like 0.5 seconds left on the defuse, and I'm like, oh my God, he did it. Second Yokai gets shot, and the bomb goes down, and they managed to make 2v3 post-plant coverage work, and I'm like, oh my God, they did it. It's Kool-Aid at 1v2. He gets some Spirits. I'm like, oh my God, he did it. And it's constant. Oh my God, they did it. Oh my God, how did they do that? How did they do that? And then it starts to get a little bit shocked. I ain't gonna lie to you. Kool-Aid shoots Spirits. I don't know how that happened. He was probably aiming up through the floor and Spirits accidentally walked in front of him. That'd be my guess. I don't think he just turned and executed his teammate.
Attackers need to locate
and then at that point, Jay does have a good angle to watch them rotate to the bomb. Because Kool-Aid sent the Yokai up and Jay looked up to shoot it, understandably, that's free intel for the defense. In that time, Kool-Aid shoots Spirits, but then rotates over to the bomb, and Jay does not have an angle on that. Just a little bit of unluckiness all over for both teams, but it ended up being a little bit more unlucky for Wichita.
Yeah, that was just a little bit more, well, unlucky for Wichita Wolves, but. So now we go on to dining and reading for Parabellum. They won that last round by the
5 seconds left.
almost a hair to breath. If Jay had just been a little bit faster, he probably could have shot, Kool-Aid in the back there, but just a little bit too slow on that drop down the hatch and freezer. And so now Wichita Wolves were able to get that roam last night. They were able to clear it out. PB didn't really go for an aggressive roam. They fell off as soon as there any pressure going back to sites. But that did allow them to have that top floor control, which is almost reason why they're able to, win that round there. A lot of aggressive plays, jumping in, pushing that horizontal roam, and still winning those fights allowed for almost Wichita Wolves to win that. So this time is how long can PB control this top floor? Forrest looking to try and find somebody peeking through aggressively. Just a little sneaky peek in the heaven window, but so far Penguin did not show himself playing under here in Shiko.
Is drone just at the last second, so he'll rotate over down below New Hatch as well. And he spots the gun for just a second. That's free intel on the Jaeger, no drone required. And he's eagerly watching, hoping Penguin, who can get a bit over aggressive sometimes, will in fact do that. But no, he will not. He'll in fact rotate all the way back over. Join the loving arms of Kool-Aid and Spirits down below. One thing I would like to point out, they have this shield and this extension up top, but we also saw a shield down below as well. Parabellum, not only are they waiting for this top floor cleared and waste time utility, they also have plenty of utility dedicated down below. While that could mean less time wasted up top because of the less utility, it does mean that when they return home, Wichita Wolves still have a bunker to cut through.
I'll give you too, especially because some of the late round plays in these rounds when it comes to reading and dining, taking control in 90 is sometimes big for the attack. So having that shield so that the player in 90, this does something in 4, and 4 just kind of walks in. Eska slams him as he walks through reading. Kind of a very aggressive play from Forrest. You wouldn't expect it, but Eska is that much better. Grenade comes out trying to destroy the shield inside of Cocktail, and within the first 2 minutes or so, looks like they're able to at least destroy some of those shields and make their way in. Spirits is all the way upstairs now by himself with that Scorpion, and Scorpion loses it out to Abanai with the G36. Nobody playing upstairs anymore. One on white stairs though. That's the last player that's probably playing somewhat aggressive from the side of PB. Penguin is there, ready to take a fight, but he's gonna back off. Allow for Wichita Wolves to take that top floor control and do what they want with it.
We saw when Parabellum took top floor control in their reading round, even though it was under the final minute, it was about 50 seconds left, they still managed to open everything up, then move to an execute. That was really just all looking up them, even in a 2v2. Still looking up. Eska, he is the one looking up. He finds Abunai, and he's able to take the man advantage. Now it's starting to look a little bit grimmer for Wichita Wolves. They've lost that manpower. They do still have both Melted and Call It Alive to do soft destruction. Now they're the only two left. Penguins managed to flank up top. He drops the bomb, but it's in a position to get picked back up. And the reign of terror of Penguin is finally ended. But now Wichita Wolves, not only are they in the man disadvantage, very narrowly taken away from Parabellum by Callout, but they don't have the intel. Callout just drops! Pile drivers, Kool-Aid from the top ropes, and now with a shotgun around the corner, he might have tried his best, but it's all for naught. Melted, he moved his way into the site, but now he has to move his way, evade the sights of the defense. He's found one. Can he land the flame fire? Oh my god, no he cannot! Far too close for comfort for Parabellum, and a round that should have gone theirs by a much more dramatic fashion.
Oh, what a round there from PB. Oh my, so many turns, so many what ifs, so many oh my god. But I will say the first part is, that first exchange upstairs, Forrest as well just walking in the site. They got that first pick. They get that first pick. Forrest walks in, kind of giving that trade back, which I don't know what Forrest is doing there exactly, but he kind of gives him that trade back and makes it even. But in that instance, though, the time was wasted, which is what PB's intent was. As we said, of course, in Kafe, it's how you play it, really. So at that point, allows the Wichita Wolves are kind of hurry, trying to take control of that vertical, trying to make those holes so they make the play happen. But the big thing I talked about too was that timed aggression. Penguin there was that timed aggression you need to put more cogs, put more chaos into that, that hurry. That hurry from the side of Wichita Wolves makes it more difficult for them really to slowly accumulate that game plan, that execute.
And that's what we didn't see from Wichita on their defensive reading, not for lack of trying. We didn't see anybody rotate back up top to try and counter like Penguin did. It was just Parabellum did so good at smothering the flames on the site. Wichita Wolves, they didn't have much of an option to even go for that kind of play, whether when they had more manpower, when it was down to a 2v2. So for Parabellum, that just goes to show they were able to evade the sights of Wichita just a little bit more, able to look up and peek, just like you mentioned. Now we're at 5-5. We're in the penultimate round. Whoever wins this, they go to match point, and whoever loses that, they have to only win one round to go to overtime. Looks like right now we'll be going to bar and cocktail for Parabellum. And this was a site, if you recall, Wichita won that very first round. Almost misread my own notes there. So it's a bit more shaky, a bit more uncertain. This was also a really, really good cocktail take by Wichita. It looks like they're going for the exact same take again. Well, they also brought the same ops and they went for a different take. So we could see either, actually.
I was like, they won it both times in there, right? They won it both times I tried this, because the first time, they create those open holes inside of Freezer because they're going for a more, closed, reserved defense besides Spirits, who was playing Christmas that first time. Which, they open up the holes, and Wichita Wolves, they just go for frags at that point because they had the man advantage that first time they played the site. Second time, I just said before, it was that cocktail take. That cocktail take was pretty damn good from Wichita Wolves. allowing them only to later on they get that first pick from below. They create a distraction, take fights on the other side, west side. They're able to get through the windows and take control of Cocktail and make that play just solidify, which is great from Wichita Wolves. So this time, what is going to be difference from PD? Because I've tried two different defenses and both times, Wichita Wolves have been fairly figured out.
10 seconds to go.
Kool-Aid will rotate from the Echo to the Maestro. I feel like that, at least in the general scheme for Cocktail, we often see a Maestro. I'd say a bit more often than an Echo, but kind of splitting hairs at that point, especially for Parabellum. They do love their Echo. But Maestro, we do often see him play on this Cocktail side. But as you said, this is just so risky for Parabellum. They don't have much of a choice, so it's not their fault. They have to go to the site unless they want to go to Mining and Dining. But both takes...
Could go Mine Dining?
That's true. In all fairness, they could have gone Mining and Dining. It is not an indefensible bomb site.
Yeah, it's
But
nothing
it's a bit of a
crazy.
risk.
Yeah, it's you know, PB has something stored. Penguin's looking for an early frag.
You won't find it. I thought we'd see a C4 on the hatch, but not today.
Not today. You see that? Oh, dude, it might be Drip when Drip did that, for God's sakes. Well, there's a C4. As I say,
Never
it's
mind.
on call out on the new new bow catch, which will do some damage but not kill call out. At this point, Penguin's going to return to Shaiko and sit and wait. And so far, it looks like this is the same similar play as last time, that first round, where they have that full reinforced in bathroom and inside a freezer. Though last time they're able to deal with the the electrical claw inside a bathroom because they just grenaded from Whitehall window. Especially because there's a shield there too as well. So what is going to stop Wichita Wolves from doing the same this time?
So far, nothing. Just a standard reserve home Parabellum, but there might be what stops Wichita Wolves. Well, never mind. Callout sends a nade on in. He's able to take down Spirits, but not before he finds the buck. If they were going for a cocktail take, that'd be a powerful pick. But they're not. They're going for the same west to east clear. They're just focusing on all the players playing on the side, slowly moving over. Forrest not even moving over, just holding an angle on White window. The White stairs window specifically is able to find Penguin. He's already used his C4, but Penguin so far, he's been a strong player on the site moving in. That kitchen round, he was one of the big players that managed to work down the man count and make it that close in the end. So losing him and also the man advantage as well. Parabellum, a third cocktail round, third time they're on the back foot.
I definitely agree. They're down 2 players here. We still have a bit of time left for these players to figure out what is Wichita Wolves going to have, what their execute's going to be for this round. And they've let's try both these walls now. So, Jay can't really open anything up. So really trying to deal with the smoke of sonar is going to be difficult for them unless they can throw a grenade, bounce that into the bathroom, and try and destroy the electrical claw so they can at least open up one of those walls. Because otherwise, what is going to be the plan? Because otherwise, it looks like now they're trying to rotate over to a cocktail push, and there's a shotgun on the right window waiting from Sonar. Kool-Aid looks like one's jumping in. Kool-Aid gets it figured out by Forrest. Sonar and Escar get their kills, but Call and Forrest are fragging out on the far side of the map by Cocktail.
Oh, Lord. Sonar is last alive. He has 1 toxic canister, but he's separated and has to take a long fight with the SMG-11. Not against 1, but 2 people. And one of those players is Forrest, who is nasty. Call is also currently top fragging in the lobby. This is going to be a hard 5 Sonar to win, but he's managed to work behind. He's close with a shotgun. They don't know he's there. He has the hard pings as well. He finds Callout, puts him on the floor. He just has to drop 1 more to secure a match point. He's playing for time. He knows he's in the upper hand as the bomb's going down. We're on 0-0. But can he kill Forrest in time? No, he can't. He's able to rotate off the bomb. The angle can be held as well. He tries to flick, but Sonar shuts him down. A 3K for the smoke on the round. A lol in chat. Laughs all around on the side of Parabellum. And they should be laughing and should be happy, because if they win 1 more round, they close this out in regulation.
Defenders have disabled the bomb diffuser.
Oh, whoa, that was close there. That was looking bad for PB. It was a 1v2. So unfortunately, I would say the big thing from this round is the fact they couldn't get those walls open. So there was it became a split push for Wichita Wolves. They didn't really have much control on that Christmas side. They had no way to open those walls because they didn't want to force their way through to try and take control, deal with those electrical claws inside a bathroom or freezer. So one side pushes up, Melted and Callout pushed one far, not Melted, I think it's Callout and Forrest push one side over by that Heaven and that A window, that cocktail window, while other players were pushing Christmas by himself. So it was a split push. It was a 2-2 split push from the side of Wichita Wolves. Unfortunately, the Christmas side gets fragged out. They could not do anything. But while they were doing that, that allowed for those players on those windows to push in, take control, deal with the players inside a cocktail, and make it a 2v1.
Attackers need to locate.
But even in that 2v1, PB were able to make it happen. They were able to slowly evade the eyes of Wichita Wolves, deal with those players in isolated positions, and even they plant down, Forrest unfortunately couldn't win that fight.
Here's the problem with these. So PB, they have won 3 times in a row. Not to take that away from them.
Yeah.
But every single round on the defense, has come down to what I would call heart attack moments in the final 5 seconds. And PB narrowly losing the round for a variety of reasons. It was on Kitchen, with Kool-Aid managing to get the defuse, killing spirits, but beside that, Kool-Aid just narrowly managing to get the defuse because the angle from Jay wasn't favorable. On reading, that 1v1, that narrowly, based on Melton's pre-fire, could have gone Wichita's way, and now another clutch from Sonar. They've won 3 rounds in a row. They're on match point. They could very well win one more, but with how close these rounds are, it's either coming down to miracle plays or Wichita Wolves making one tiny mistake in a post plant that ends up swinging in their favor. It's the little things.
Such little things. These moments are coming down to the trades left and right, but then little things, little mistakes you really can't account for. But, intel isn't in their favor because end of the round there aren't many drones, or plays and fights that you wouldn't expect to lose or win. It's just crazy plays from both teams. And so far, Parabellum bringing it back where we thought it was looking good for Wichita Wolves. They had that first 2 rounds where it's just like straight win after win, and now which Parabellum bring 3 back. They're now match point. We on to a Kitchen defense once more, and last time, there was a roam, so it was pushed back very quickly, allowed for Wichita Wolves to open the floor and really create that execute. But even then, Parabellum won that round by the split of a hair.
It's true. I mean, that's absolutely true. And
what the?
Well, Penguin is... Okay, so I was about to go on a whole... I was about to go on a whole tangent about how it's key that Wichita Wolves need to get vertical control because Penguin, who's been so powerful on the site, was able to shut down a large part of their push on Kitchen. Penguin is the opening pick upstairs, not even in the site. So there goes that whole concept. Wichita Wolves can now just make their way in. That's a C4 gone, and Spirits is also trying to get aggressive on this white window. He'll rotate off.
He's rotating away. He's trying to leave. He's trying to run away.
I was about to say, I mean, this is an incredibly risky rotate. He's got to get caught off.
Yeah, no, yeah. He's trying to leave as fast as possible, so he doesn't get caught off on that upstairs hold. So that actually was a good play. You've seen people do it before when it comes to that window inside of dining as well, just to somehow get away before getting killed. Especially if you reinforce that hatch into freezer, it's kind of the only way you leave.
But okay. Oh, well, actually, not. That makes things a lot easier. I was going to say, Wichita Wolves, they have the map control, but Parabellum, they still look strong on the side, but Forces managed to dismantle Kool-Aid, remove him from his position. Eska also on low HP. It was that Kochek player that managed to cause so much trouble, but Sonar, who caused a lot of trouble, sent PB to match point. A flick by Force has now made things and paved the way for Wichita to move their way on through, and there it is! 2 kills! An incredible round from Wichita. Parabellum not showing up all that much. We'll need overtime. It always seems to be OT between these 2 teams.
I don't even know how to discuss that
right now. I also don't either, if I'm being entirely honest. I
guess the first things first is they had intel instead of dining. They catch Penguin, who was late reinforcing, I believe. I don't know. I think he was late reinforcing. Maybe? They catch him off in dining, get that first pick. You saw, of course, Spirits is upstairs. He jumps out a window to leave, so he doesn't get caught off upstairs and gets pinched. So he tries to return to site. But then at the same point, the players, because they get that first pick, Wichita Wolves just sped up the entire process. They skip things in the checklist and they go, hey, we don't even know make vertical control. Let's just push horizontal at this point. They push in a bakery. They take out the guy playing inside a coach check immediately. Oh, no, I'm going to be not coach check. Inside a prep room. Prep room, they just walk into prep room, kill Kool-Aid. They open the wall, killed the smoke of Sonar, who is sitting left of the breach. They walk into sight. Eska does get a flank off. Spirits gets a kill too, but the problem is at that point, they had control of sight. They just need to kill the last 2 players who were on site.
That was... Hectic doesn't even begin to describe how it felt watching that round. But that's in the past. Now we're moving to overtime. Wichita Wolves are starting on the defense, and they are moving to reading. This was a site that Wichita Wolves won, but also PB have won. You remember that very solid execute up top from PB. The vertical control came down to a 2v2, and Wichita Wolves were kind of left in a situation where it was damned if you do, damned if you don't. If Parabellum are able to capture that, excellent. They might very well be in the clear, but for Wichita, they've been playing reserved. And I wouldn't say, they should get aggressive. But for playing upstairs in that attack, if they're able to waste just a little bit more time, on the vertical, which seemed to be so powerful from Parabellum, that could be, we talked about small mistakes earlier, that could be the small benefit, the small factor that tips it in their scales and gives them match point.
Could be. Well, Parabellum this time, are they going to roam clear this time? Looks like they are going to the roof, so they're going to try and roam clear. And so far, we've not seen them roam clear at all, have we?
No, not all that much. Did it a little bit on reading, but beyond that, they have loved to just try and hit the site, and it's sometimes worked. A lot of times it hasn't, though.
Yeah, it's been mixed results so far for when they just, opts to not roam clear whatsoever. And oh my god, Forrest gets a hole above his head, just enough where he can hide below it. But at this point, looks like they're trying to pack up. Oh, the drones come out, they ping Forrest, but they unfortunately cannot get the kill as he retreats into train. So that was the first crazy engagement onto Forrest. And they'll know there's two players, so one player in train now. Forrest is backed off into sight. He's retreated to try and stay alive for the moment. And PB, they're going to try and take that first advantage, but whether or not, are they going to roam clear here? They are upstairs, but I don't see any real progress upstairs just as of yet.
Well, there's not. Forrest is probably thankful he managed to come away with that, narrowly escaping their view, but for Parabellum, they have to make progress in this top floor roam. It's imperative for them. I wouldn't say it's a win condition, but it certainly is a factor that would make things a lot easier if they managed to make it work. They'll start to do the work. Sonar finds Abernai. That was the player playing inside a bathroom. So you've managed to dislodge that, but that was the player at the forefront. You still have the other players sitting at the back, and they're still behind shields. They still have avenues to rotate. They're still strongly holding on to this, and that vert that was so good for Parabellum, it's not at all possible yet. There's a minute 15 left, and they don't have a lot of time to make it happen.
I definitely agree. In fact, there's only a minute and 10 seconds left, and they haven't taken control of top floor. This is huge. They can still waste more time. A C4 from below, from train, of course. That player in train we talked about before, which was call out. He'll try not call out. It'll be Jay who tries C4-1. C4 not gonna kill, but he's a shotgun. Shotgun's out, trying to find a kill, and Jay will get the kill actually. Eska, 2 shots, 3 shots, but Spirits now walks into the train. At least we'll get that refrag. And so far, they find out that train is kind of open. Cool gets his own kill onto Melted. And now what could have been, we were kind of scared there because vertical play wasn't in PB's favor. But all of a sudden, now it's a 2v4, and Wichita Wolves are looking to lose this.
A little bit. Again, Parabellum, they just rotate downstairs. They're able to find 2 kills, but this was the retake. The retake up top that we never saw from Wichita. It's finally going the way. Force is able to spot one, but he gets cut down. He looks away, looks back, does a double take, and it ends up costing him. Penguin's able to stay up top, lands the final 2, and it seemed to be out of nowhere. A rabbit out of a hat. Parabellum at match point.
Yeah, we were scared for a second there because there was some engagements there. They get that first pick upstairs. The big part is they figure out that first pick on the top floor. I think it was Spirits or Sonar getting the first pick, allowing them to really start to push upstairs. We were kind of scared because, vertical pressure wasn't in their hand. There was only a minute 15 seconds left, and there was no vertical pressure. But then we see Jay get his own kill from below inside a train, but as he's shotgunning one player above, Eska moves downstairs in the train at the same time. He gets that refrag. Kool-Aid elsewhere gets a kill Melted, and all of a sudden now it's a 2v4. Parabellum have the man advantage. They push on, they take those fights from above, and they go for that, they go for that plan diffuser, and the player inside's got to take a fight with not only, a player covering, but a player above him too. It's not very different for Wichita Wolves to bring that back, especially because, above 2 Force, he had to do a double take because he didn't see that player at first, a Penguin who was sitting in between the booths.
That could have been so huge from Forrest. That could have been the play we'd all be talking about right there, but he looked and then he looked away. That's just... We used unlucky before to describe a Wichita round. I'm going to use unlucky to describe a second one, because there's no other word beyond that. Potentially the final site Mutu is reading for Parabellum. Won't see an echo this time. Kool-Aid doesn't want to go with that. In fact, he's gone off the Kool-Aid, the Maestro, the Intel Ops. He's rotated to the Goyo, and they're taking this in a very similar way to how Wichita Wolves are. Or they're playing this in a very similar way to how Wichita Wolves seem to play this. Some utility up top. You have the deployable shields as well. The ADSs, of course. It's a cocktail extension on reading. Your usual suspects are going to be there, and that seems to be what it is for Parabellum. They're not getting too crazy with it. They're not bringing out some insane pocket strat. They're just playing what they know and playing what really everyone knows, but this is Parabellum. This is a team that certainly can do that. They have the pedigree to execute those more default strats to the best of their ability. For Wichita, if they even make 1 or 2 more mistakes, it's over.
Yeah, I think last time we talked about the fact that it was Wichita Wolves had the top floor advantage kind of quickly, but it was Penguin later on to really create confusion and really make it difficult for Wichita Wolves to create that execute when it came to that end game. So let's see if they can do it once again. How this roam clear happens for Wichita Wolves. Penguin once again playing the Jaeger, playing aggressive here in Shigo, below New Hatch. And so far, Wichita Wolves are just doing the minimum work. And Spirits will start us off, though, taking out Forrest inside of Christmas. He'll drop back into train. He gets that first pick, and he's done his job already. He's going to back off and maybe go to White Stairs, play in the arms of helping out Penguin and the other players upstairs. But he's done his job for the moment.
He's able to rotate back. Penguin as well, playing below Shaiko. Could have been a bit risky. Oh, no, he's still playing aggressively in that position. Don't know if the attackers know he's there, though. And yes, they do. He'll rotate down. Some bullets flying over the top of his head. That's Adwinai trying to catch him on the fall off, but he'll also manage to make it back to site. Now it's just Kool-Aid playing on Cocktail alone. Does have a C4. Well, he does have Spirits as well, who's rotated up white. That's that shield he could play behind. And Wichita Wolves, they're able to get these two players quickly. The round will certainly look strong for them, but if Parabellum were able to hold on for 20 to 30 more seconds, Wichita Wolves, they're in a dangerous spot once again.
So far, yep, they're making their way through. They've actual freezer, so Jay could open this wall at this point. There's no mute. There's a C4 flies out. Nobody's double door, so no done so far. No kill from. But there's the Kool-Aid with a kill. And I believe there's a flank for one player, but I don't think a flank even matters. Spirits gets a kill too. Spirits has 2 for the round. Penguin goes down to call out, so Penguin at least causes some confusion, but unfortunately, he won't do any damage to the attack. So at this point, the attackers have top floor control. They have the control they need. They have time as well to really create that execute. And Penguin, unfortunately, last time we talked to them being the confusion, but they have the man advantage. Kool-Aid and Spirits did all the job they need, so even with the time, they don't have the man advantage.
And not just that, not only do they not have the man advantage, while sure Penguin is gone, you just don't have anything going your way right now. Kool-Aid's right there. This is potentially playoffs on the line for Wichita. If Jay's not able to clutch this, Wichita go 0-3, and playoffs might just be beyond their reach. An 8-6 was what went Wichita's way in their first bout in stage 1. It's an 8-6 to go Parabellum's way this time. And playoffs might not be in contention for the Wolves anymore after that one. Or if it is, it's going to be a damn tough fight to try and make it happen.